Hey everybody, Aaron here and
Dave
here.
Hey.
This is our Campus Life video blog, and we're just helping you recap what we talked about last night at Campus Life. And of course, we were talking about being single. If you weren't there, you should totally come out. We're talking about relationships and the different stages of relationships. And so last night we talked about being single and that it's okay to be single, and that's Dave and I, because Dave shared last night. We brought him in just so he can have some thoughts on this video blog and just to help you remember what he talked about last night. But before we let Dave kind of go in and say what he's going to say, let's just kind of lead into this. So last night we talked about being single, and lots of different people have different relationships for so many different reasons, and being single is one of them. And so here's what we heard from you about why you are single. Some have had bad relationships and don't want to take a chance on someone else and having their heart broken, and that is totally the way it goes. Sometimes, not all the time, but if you've had a bad relationship, then why would you want to be in another one when it's just going to turn out to be crappy? Some are just plain bad at being in relationships, and they don't know how to make a relationship work, and so you just back that truck up. Others, like me, tried way too hard to be someone they weren't and to make a relationship work. And I'm gonna in a week or so, I'm gonna share my story on the struggles that I had with being single and wanting to be in a relationship. And I'm gonna tell you in a few weeks that. But people try and be someone they're not to impress someone, and that was totally me. And you're gonna hear that in a few weeks. Others, your parents, have said or have set out these crazy rules for you dating someone. You have to be 18, you have to be back by 6 o'clock at night, no being in the same room with a boy or girl, or whatever. Your parents really may have a pretty big hold on your relationship life, and we've heard that from you as well. Others view themselves as worthless. Some might say I'm ugly, or I'm fat, and who would want to be with me? I'm just whatever. I'm no good to be in a relationship, and that has to do a lot with self-esteem. And we hear it. Dave and I, we hear it all the time that people really say that, and that really is a reason why people choose to be single. Others have such high standards for the perfect person that they want to be with. And I got to tell you, that perfect person doesn't exist. And if you are one of those people that just say, I'm waiting for that perfect person, you will never be satisfied in a relationship. And I'm telling you from experience. When I was younger, I had very strict guidelines with the person that I wanted to be with, and it just doesn't happen. That person doesn't exist, and you have to get over that. Others just don't see the point. Why would I be in a relationship? I'm happy and content with myself, or whatever. People just don't see the point, and sometimes that's just the way that it goes. Our society, I'm going to turn over to Dave in a sec. Our society and culture and Hollywood and all this stuff put such an emphasis on being in a relationship and saying that being single isn't right. And there is huge pressure by our society and our culture to be in a relationship that it totally screws with the mentality and the idea of being in a relationship and being single. And we want to tell you that's wrong. Society should not dictate if you are single or in a relationship. That is a choice. That's what we're talking about. A choice that you should make in your relationships. If you're choosing to be single, that is really good news, and that's what we're here talking about. And Dave is gonna tell his story. But before I finish, I want to tell you, it's okay to choose to be single. Now, Dave last night talked about, you talked about last night, the ability to choose to be single is a gift. Can you kind of recap what you meant by that?
Yeah, so what I mean by that is, I think there's a lot of people out there who, some people have what I think is the gift of the ability to be single. And what I mean by that is, you're fine with being single, you're content being single, you don't have to be in a relationship. And some people are single, they don't necessarily want to be, and so they're more kind of geared towards being in a relationship. But I think it's a special thing, and it is a gift when you have the ability that you can be content being single, and you don't feel like you have to give into the pressure of being in a relationship.
At the heart of the ability to choose to be single is allowing you to focus on what you feel is important in your life. And I think that's what you were really talking about last night, is that's the gift, to focus on other things in your life. And we want you to know, first and foremost, that there's a difference between being single and choosing to be single. And that's the gift. Being single may not be a gift. You might be single and wondering why you're not in a relationship. You have to really kind of look back and say, is this a gift or not? Because if it's not, you might want the receipt back from that gift. Am I right?
Absolutely.
So you really need to say, am I choosing to be single, or is it something else that's causing me to be single? But what we're talking about is choosing to be single is a gift, and it's that the ability to focus on what's important in your life, and things like school, family, your job, hobbies, whatever. It's those really important things that you value, because I'll tell you, as soon as you get into a relationship, you factor in that person into the relationship, and that person becomes a focus. And when you're choosing to not be in a relationship and you're choosing to be single, you get to focus on the other things that you find important. So being single is all right. And Dave, as you heard last night, or you just hearing now, Dave chooses to be single, and we want you to know that it's okay.
Yeah.
For real. Here's some advice for you. I threw my paper out. No advice for now. I'm gonna edit that piece out.
Okay. Don't rush finding the perfect person.
Yeah. Say that louder. Say that louder.
Okay. Don't rush finding the perfect person, because they don't exist.
Yeah. What does that mean?
I think that nobody's perfect. So if you're waiting around for the perfect person, you're never going to find them, because nobody's perfect. And there might be someone who you might be, I'll say, a good match for, who may not meet all of your standards or requirements, that you would overlook because you're out there looking for this magical person that's not actually there, because nobody's perfect.
Yeah. There's the right person, but there's not the perfect person.
Yeah.
If you're looking for that perfect person, do you know what that means? It means you will never be happy with what you have. And that's not good, because you will always be looking for something better. And when it comes to relationships, and this type of relationships we're talking about, there's no such thing as that. If I was always looking for something better than Danielle, and as a wife, she wouldn't want to be around me very long, because why would she be if I'm looking for something better? And we want you to know the same thing in relationships. If you are looking for something better, you better stop looking, because that doesn't exist. And so we're gonna finish with that and give you something to chew on. So this is the Campus Life video blog on being single. Let's do the one sentence recap. If you are choosing to be single, that's good, because it means you're focusing on something else, and that's really good. So keep focusing on that. Don't feel pressure to be in a relationship, and if you're choosing to not be in a relationship, that's good. And take it from Dave, because he's doing that right now, and that's why we're doing this. We want you to know that it's okay. If you're single and you're having a hard time finding somebody, don't give up. I was that person, and there's things you got to learn, and And we're going to talk about that in a couple weeks and maybe why you can't find that certain somebody. But most of the time, it's just things aren't ready, and that's okay. And if you're single, keep it that way because there's a reason for that. Until next time, this is Dave and Aaron, video blog, Campus Life. Boom!